Hi everyone, and welcome back to our podcast about the beginnings of Coldwell Banker Neumann Real Estate. I'm your host, Lexie Neumann, and in the last two episodes, I talked with my dad, Jeff Neumann, about the business's origins as Herb Neumann Real Estate, which was founded by my Opa, and followed that up with the direction the office took once my dad took over. We last discussed the decision my dad made to amalgamate Herb Neumann Real Estate with Guelph's Coldwell Banker franchise, resulting in us becoming Coldwell Banker Neumann Real Estate. Today we're continuing the discussion where we left off, moving the office from downtown to its current location at 824 Gordon Street. So last week we left off with the move to our current location at 824 Gordon Street. Do you want to just recap how that went or how that decision was made?
Yeah, so I was able to buy the lot, but I didn't have the money in place, the financing in place to build the building. Basically, we were a business that I thought was poised to grow or had the building blocks in place to grow. But it didn't yet, the business certainly didn't yet warrant the expenditure that I was about to undertake. So I returned to my neighbor, Paul Gazzola, who was and still is in the mortgage finance business. And I'll be forever grateful to Paul. And he was able to cobble together private money. Some of it his own, some of it his family members. And quite frankly, if it wasn't for Paul's help, we would have been dead in the water at the time. We wouldn't have been able to move forward.
That's a good friend.
He's a good friend. He got paid interest, but certainly he took a risk that at the time the bank wasn't willing to take.
Okay, so how did your plan with Paul work exactly?
So the plan was that Paul was to provide construction financing, which he did. And then once we were moved in as a tenant, and once I had another tenant, a dentist that moved in, is still there. Once we were in place as tenants, then we would go to a bank and get conventional financing and pay Paul back. And I still have a vivid recollection of sitting down with that banker and going over our financials. And the look on his face, wondering how he was going to explain to his superiors why this mortgage request should be approved. In any case, eventually it was approved, and we were able to pay Paul back, and everybody has lived happily ever after.
So what were your next steps after the building was finally finished?
So I've probably fairly accurately portrayed how tight the purse strings were at that time. And you have to remember our business at that time would have been maybe 15 or 20% what it is today. Like the business was fledgling. So I was on a very tight budget, and the intention was when we moved in here that I was going to try to save the furniture that we had from the old office. So I paid a mover to move all the furniture from the old office downtown to be delivered and installed in the new building. And it was. And I got up there to look at it for the first time, and it was just so disheartening. It was like I'd bought a brand new 3-piece suit and I was wearing an old sweaty t-shirt underneath or something. So on the day we moved in, I just finished paying money I didn't have to move this furniture up to 824 Gordon Street. I called the bin rental place and I got a waste bin delivered to 824 Gordon Street. And the same day the furniture was delivered to the new office, we heaved it all into the bin and threw it out.
Oh, gosh.
And then the next day I had to go to Staples and I don't know where else, Staples, Leon's or whoever, and bought new furniture.
Oh, God. That's such a stressful few weeks.
It was stressful. Yes, it was. But there's a lesson in that too. It's and one I've often reflected back on. It's amazing how many little mistakes you can make along the way. But if you're grounded in real estate, if you're backed by real estate, eventually you're going to come out all right. If it doesn't kill you, you'll come out all right.
And how did it go once you moved in? Did the plan come to fruition?
Yeah, it didn't maybe go as quickly as I wanted to. And we moved in 2006. And 2007, 2008 was the financial crisis in the States. It wasn't nearly as bad here, but it was a little bit of a dip. But in any case, I was very fortunate, and I was right about one thing, in that good people like to work with good people, and that was the whole premise of what emboldened me to make the move in the first place. We had acquired some really strong, just good people, and good people want to work with good people, so we were able to grow, and it continues to grow today.
Is one of those people Steve?
Yes, Steve Fody joined us in one of the first few years at 824 Gordon Street and is now co-owner and broker of record of Coldwell Banker Neumann Real Estate.
There have been a lot of changes since Opus started in 1972.
There certainly has, but change is good, and anything that is good for the agents and good for the salespeople ultimately is good for the business. And if it's good for the business, it's good for all of us.